I come to you today with breaking news. I checked this a few times just to be sure because I don't want to spread misinformation, but it is looking like Republican members of Congress are big old fat liars, okay? Because they were all, yesterday they were like, we're not gonna vote for this budget bill. It cuts Medicaid and Medicare and that will hurt our constituents and we don't wanna hurt our constituents. I vote yes. I vote yes. Move it forward. It's all good. The big, beautiful bill that's gonna devastate my community. I got a phone call from Donald Trump, so I guess I'm okay with that now. Because yes, that budget has moved forward. Now we're not done with it, and it could still die, but I have even less faith than I already did that it'll be principled Republicans that kill it. And so, look, it's either that or the only other explanation I have is that maybe Mike Johnson's call for prayer worked. Maybe prayer is a real thing and they were able to get it through. But anyway, we have to acknowledge that Republicans still face significant challenges before they can pass this bill. So the House has passed theirs. The Senate has passed theirs, which are different. And so the Senate is now gonna have to pass the House bill and then they go into the reconciliation process where they make sure that they have a one bill that they can then vote on. And that's where the real trouble potentially could start. Although again, don't count your budget cuts before they hatch. And so the difficulty for Mike Johnson, who made it past this hurdle, is that moderates keep saying that they don't want the Medicaid benefits to be cut. Although again, they could have killed the bill yesterday if they wanted to. And hardliners say that the budget cuts don't go far enough because there will still technically be some Medicaid left. There will still technically be a little bit of food stamps and they will not rest until every dollar that the government spends that goes to regular working people is cut. And so he's really caught between those two sides. And so what does the legislation that they passed do? Well, it extends the massive tax cuts, trillions going to the richest people in the country. As always, that's the one guarantee when a Republican gets elected, they're gonna hand trillions of dollars to wealthy Americans and then some cuts to help offset a little bit of that. And by the way, when we're talking about how much damage this is gonna do, not just to the American people, but to like our finances as a country, which they continually say that they care about. Remember, that's why Doggy is doing all of their cuts, is we're gonna be bankrupted if we don't do these cuts. This package that they passed could add as much as $11.25 trillion over 10 years. And so we already have $36 trillion in national debt. Between 8 and 9 trillion of that was Donald Trump in his first term. He's now gonna add another 11 trillion. So you had about 26 trillion before Trump. You're gonna have 48 after Trump. So Trump gets to add $20 trillion. He gets to almost double our national debt in just 2 terms. And I'm getting ahead of myself because there's all sorts of other stuff that they're gonna do that's gonna jack it up even more. I'm just talking about these tax cut bills. And so if you hear a Republican talk about fiscal responsibility or anything, you should laugh in their face, maybe add a little bit of spit to it too, and then just walk away because it's insane. But before we discuss, I do want to just say it is Trump that apparently made this thing work, not Mike Johnson. Trump apparently called up a bunch of those hesitant votes. So he tried to, he swayed Tim Burchett, Victoria Spartz, Warren Davidson, Thomas Massie. All of the holdouts except for Massie flipped. Even though Spartz had said earlier that day, I never change my vote without changes in the rules or changes in procedures or changes in the taxes. Never did and never will. Actually, sign me up. I want to start doing that. I had a good run, but now I want to, principles, they're heavy. I want to put them down. And so that's it. Now, Burchett said specifically, it was Trump that swayed me. He said, it's not everything I wanted, but in this game, you're either at the table or you're on the menu. So he's being folksy, but he's saying, I'm worried about losing my position. That's all that means. I'm scared. He made me a scared, and so I'm gonna vote for it. He said it was time to get to the table. There was no quid pro quo, but the president assured me that he would work towards cuts, and he's never lied to me. I mean, look, first of all, you just described a quid pro quo. A scaredy cat quid pro quo, that's all it is. So never refer to this guy as a man ever again. And then, and he's never lied to me. Could you repeat that? Donald Trump has never lied to you? I mean, you're a Republican, so I guess he's lied to you a little bit less than he's lied to us. But Sharon, he's never lied. And I believe you referenced, he put it a different way in an interview, I think.
He said he's like my wife. She's never lied to me. The president's never lied to me. It was so gross, okay? I hadn't eaten yet. If I was eating something, I would have just, okay, would have just come up involuntary. These people are so spineless. They lack spines, any kind of courage. How do you even go look your wife in the face, okay? I've never met your wife, but if you were this spineless and lacked such integrity, I hope she, and maybe your daughter too, would just look at you like, really? We didn't want to be around you. If I'm the wife, I'm out of there. That's what he said. This whole thing that you said about this lie about balancing the budget and fiscal responsibility, Republicans have been doing that for decades, okay? So they can pretend, and then the rich, trickle down, didn't work under Reagan, and it's not gonna work now. It's all a money grab. And to think that these people are saying things like, I'm that line in the sand, I'm gonna stand up to this guy. And then he's on the phone like really a mobster, checking and watching them like a hawk. And then they say, you know what? I vote for you. Look at what the doctor did in voting for, RFK.
Yeah.
Someone died in Texas today, a child.
I did, yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow on the show.
Well,
Measles
why?
is taking a kid's life, yes.
No spine. No spine.
Yeah, what was that you said? Your wife has never lied to you? Well, if you'd like to test that streak, just go home to her today and say, hey, honey, do you still respect me?
You proud of me?
See if she'll give you the truth.
First lie.
The absolute truth. So anyway, they have to go through this process. We're gonna see what we end up getting. Look, I would love to just come and be like, they're gonna fail on everything, okay? I mean, ultimately they're gonna fail, but I mean in terms of their actual goals. Our country's gonna fail, thanks to them. But in terms of like passing this, I mean, they passed them the first time. They're more compliant this time than they were last time. This is the only must-do thing when Republicans win elections. Everything else is optional. There's all sorts of stuff that they'd like to do to hurt America, to rob taxpayers of their money, to all sorts of stuff like that. And they'd love to do all their culture war stuff to distract the poor dupes that vote for them. But the only must pass thing is we come in, we transfer money from the poor, working, and middle class to the wealthy. And so look, maybe some of the cuts will be dialed back. Maybe they'll do the tax cuts. They just won't offset it as much with Medicaid cuts. And that 11.25 trillion will be $18 trillion. I don't know, but I guarantee they're not going to allow a chance to take your hard-earned money and hand it to Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. They're not gonna let that pass them by. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.